Good evening, not morning this time. It is actually the 6th of June, 2013 as we're recording this. There's some scheduling stuff coming up that means we got to record it early. But welcome to episode 11 of Time to Live podcast with Quad and Rev. I'm Rev.
And I am Quad. Also, it's 4 a.m. here, so this is going to be fun.
And we have a special guest with us after several weeks of badgering and schedule mishaps. We have Vocino, or Vocino, or however he pronounces it. Welcome, Travis.
You are the worst at pronouncing things.
I am. How is it pronounced?
Vocino, but you can go ahead and call me Travis, actually.
All right.
Yeah, I've been calling you Travis since you first came in.
I know. Everyone just calls me Travis.
Well, it's because your IRC login is your connection information is Travis. So.
Yeah, I know. But I can't register /Travis on every social network, so makes it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad I caught everything. That was Almighty Quad. It wasn't too hard. It's a very unique name.
But I'm finally here, at least.
Yeah,
Speaking
welcome.
of scheduling conflicts.
So, what happened last week?
What happened last week? Why wasn't I on the podcast? I can't even remember. I think I went out on Friday and didn't wake up or something. I can't remember if that was that week or that was the week before.
That was the week before. I think this past week you and your wife went to...
Last week I was camping, actually. I didn't even have cell service, and it was terrible. I was freaking out, and my wife is like into it. She was okay. I mean, it was fun, but I don't know. Being disconnected from that much technology was very difficult for me. It's like the first time I've really been disconnected in a really, really long time.
Yeah.
You should. I can kind of empathize with that. About once a year for a week, I disappear and I am all but unreachable. So I kind of get a dose of it, but not enough to really throw me off.
Yeah.
It's nice while it's happening, but I keep thinking, as soon as I reconnect my phone somewhere, I'm just gonna have a huge inbox of crap that I'm gonna have to go through, and that's all I can keep thinking about.
Yeah. That's always fun. So I'm kind of peeved today.
Uh-oh.
I've got 99 subscribers now.
Well, I'm already subscribed to you, or I would kick you over the edge.
I'm just sitting there
unsubscribe.
waiting. No, I'm just waiting for the 100th one.
I don't think math works that way.
So yeah, that's gonna be fun whenever I get that. Yeah.
Are you gonna do like an event or something?
Probably not. I'm lazy like that.
Oh.
Maybe he'll record episode 2 of Castles 2.
Finally.
Do I even have Castles 2?
The long-awaited.
Did I uninstall it or something? I'll probably have it somewhere on my computer. Yeah.
All right. Well, first up on our list of things is what, Quad?
What have we been playing? I want to hear from Travis first.
Oh my god.
What have you been playing this last week?
What have I been playing? Well, I've been playing Fuse on the PS3. I wasn't sure about it, but it was sent to me, so I decided to play it. It's okay. I will say that. It's okay. Apparently it was made from it transitioned from another game that this company, Insomniac Games, was developing called Overstrike, and then Insomniac Games partnered with EA, and partnered. I use that term loosely. Really, I mean EA engulfed them and swallowed them whole. And
as
now
they want to do.
Right. So now they transitioned it into a game called Fuse, and I guess a lot of people that have been following the game for a long time feel like it lost some type of soul that it had back before it was part of EA. But I enjoyed it. I think the multiplayer is good. I was playing split screen, couch co-op type stuff. And I mean, it's fun. It's a fun kind of mindless sort of game. The story's not that great, but It was okay.
Anything else?
Anything else? I played some of Metro Last Light, which I thought was very well done. I did the field of view fix for it, which does help. It shipped with a really poor field of view, almost for like a console, and you couldn't change it on the PC, and that was kind of terrible. But they released a way to fix it, and so then I started playing it after that. And it's good. It has an interesting story, and I'm really into like dystopian, post-apocalyptic kind of storylines, so I dig that part. But I don't know. I lost interest in it. I just, after the 6,000th like demon monster thing, mutant thing, I was just kind of like, oh well,
Yeah, I heard it
that's-
gets really repetitive after a while, so I haven't picked it up yet.
Now that's the sequel to Metro 2033, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, it is.
Oh, okay. So they kind of got foobarred in the whole THQ going under.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Right.
Any other games?
That's pretty much it.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, it hasn't been a long week.
Yeah.
It's been a long week. I could keep going if you guys want me to. No problem.
I'm sure you haven't played as many games as I have, though.
Yeah, not all of us are no longer employed and have tons of free time.
Hey, I
That
still played
definitely
that many
helps.
games, didn't I? I
Maybe
haven't
that's
Yeah,
why
but
stopped.
now
he's
you
no
have
longer
more
employed.
time to play them.
Yeah, I do. So,
I'm envious.
what have you been
This
playing?
week, I have honestly, I'm trying to think. I purchased Trials Evolution based on a stream that I saw by Dariel, and it really intrigued me. It reminded me of the old Flash-style balance motorcycle game, and went, oh, cool. Got that the other day, and I've played maybe a third of the single-player tracks. None of the user-created stuff, but I'm pretty sure that's about... Oh, I played some Solitaire today for the first time in years.
Why did you do
What?
that?
I did not sleep well last night. I got to sleep at about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and woke up at 5:30 to go into work. And by the time noon hit, my mind was just gone. I could not focus on anything, and I decided I was going to play Solitaire.
Cool.
I think I won 3 whole games out of like the 100 or so that I played.
Well, I'm actually quite an expert on Solitaire and Free Cell from my school years. So I can beat almost every single game I
Does
play.
Solitaire even come on Windows 8 anymore?
I have no idea.
I haven't really touched Windows 8.
Yeah, I've kind of avoided Windows 8.
That would be
Yes.
tragic if they took it off.
Yeah,
That
I
and
agree.
Minesweeper.
Think of all the old ladies that can't play their games anymore.
I know. People might start like doing work at work. All those secretaries would start actually doing some work.
Wow, that would be awful.
Be
Well, they do have the
tragic.
internet though.
You know
that's
how we
true.
you know how we solved that? We made our receptionist into a techceptionist.
What?
Yeah, she now does she configures T1 routers, Cisco 1720 series. She does basic email and web hosting troubleshooting, and yeah, it kind of works out.
That's always good. Yeah.
Yeah, frees me up to play Solitaire all day.
The receptionist where I work, they have kind of they can do pretty much whatever they want when they sit there. They can surf the web, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, as long as they answer the phone, I guess.
Yeah, as long as they answer the phone, everything's good. And
My
of
office
course,
doesn't
receive
even have a
guests.
receptionist.
Well, I don't work there anymore, but yeah. So, what have I been
What have you
playing?
been playing?
What have you been playing?
All right, let's begin the list.
Hold on, let me
Right.
get comfortable.
So I've been playing Crusader Kings 2. There's a new when did this expansion come out? Did I talk about it on Sunday and Saturday?
I don't know what's the expansion called.
The Old Gods.
No, I don't think you mentioned that one.
It allows you to play the pagans, which
yes, you did then.
Yeah, so they put the time back and all that. Yeah, so I've been playing that with one of my friends, and I've been playing Dota 2. Who didn't see that one coming? I've been playing Expeditions Conquistador.
Is that another simulation one, RTS?
It sort of reminds me of Heroes, but it doesn't have the Heroes of Might and Magic.
Oh,
it doesn't have the town aspects to it. It's more like you have a hero that goes around, and when night comes, you have to camp and decide what your followers are doing. Like some of them will have to go patrolling, others are guarding, others are hunting, others are tending to the wounded, and so on. And it has a turn-based a turn-based combat system, which is kind of interesting. Kind of like XCOM-ish, but, it's set in... I can't remember what time period. It's 1600s, 1700s? Maybe. And whenever the Spanish first went to America and started... Well, that would be earlier.
Yeah, I don't follow my ancient American history.
I don't remember, and I'm not American, so I can't really be faulted on that. But yeah, it's got an interesting mechanic to it, and I've been enjoying it. Expeditions Conquistador. Right, so that's one more game. I've been playing more Mountain Blade Warband.
Surprised.
Yeah, and that was quite fun. So that, I think, is my... I've been playing some more Wargame Land Battle. That was the end of my Steam list.
How is Wargame? I've been thinking about picking that up.
It's kind of interesting. It's an RTS game, so if you don't like RTSs, it's probably not in your alley.
I like them. I'm just terrible at them.
It has sort of deck building. It's sort of like cards, but it's not cards. It's decks.
What? No thanks.
So it's like Magic plus RTS.
Yeah, but it does still cost you to make stuff.
I don't know.
That's
about
kind
that.
of a weird mechanic. You should probably
check
out a video on it.
I should check out a gameplay video.
Yeah, you should.
Oh my god, great idea.
Yep. All right. I've been playing
like a Let's Play.
Yeah, I've been playing Dwarf Fortress. That's been fun. My fortress isn't that big because I haven't been playing it that much. I've been playing an amazing amount of Cataclysm DDA. Yeah, that's pretty much all I do these days, play Cataclysm DDA. I have so much fun with it.
First world problems.
I love the game. I just can't stop thinking about it. And they are actually going to launch a Kickstarter in a couple of weeks, I think. So they can get... It's an open source game, so they're trying to get a person to be constantly working on it as a profession. So they're launching a Kickstarter for it.
That's nice.
Yep.
I've supported a bunch of Kickstarter games.
Yeah. Well, it's a game that's actually out and you can play it, so they just want to have dev constantly on.
That's nice too.
Yeah.
You know what? Speaking of Kickstarter games, not to derail you, you've supported Kickstarter games,
yes, a bunch.
Right? Because we've talked about it. It kind of sucks that I almost feel like you need to put in a bunch of work to get a game to a point where at the end of the Kickstarter you can release something.
Yeah.
Because it could be like 2 years or more. Right? Before the game comes out, so you've donated your money, you want to play it, you believe in the project, and then like this one game I funded, I haven't heard from them after they got funded, and you have to at least do something, right? I don't want to read even necessarily want to read a huge long email about what you're doing. I want to have
Just
like
a comment of,
forums
hey,
or-
today we're working on art assets, or
something.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Right.
I would agree with you.
Continuing on, we'll discuss Kickstarter some more soon.
Sorry about that.
I've been playing Minecraft. That's been fun. I've built a amazing house. It's quite cool, actually. That was
Totally
fun.
not interested. Moving on. Next
No
game.
one's interested in Minecraft.
I'm gonna take a screenshot and shove it up your asses. Right. I haven't been playing Master of Orion, which is kind of sad.
I wonder how many of the listeners are writing all these down.
None of them. They're just supposed to sit there and listen.
I know.
And then I've been playing War Thunder. I was actually streaming here Actually, it was yesterday with Vapid and someone and someone else. Completely forgot their
Boy,
names.
great friends. Good bonds you're making there.
Well, the first time I met them was yesterday, so I can't really. I can check it up, but it's not really.
Were you streaming on YouTube, your channel, or?
No, that was Vapid just streaming on Twitch.
Oh, I
I
see.
was just joining him for
I don't know.
funsies.
Okay.
Yeah, and I like that game. Go over to Vapid's channel and check it out then.
I'll
Will do.
get on that.
Yeah. Right, so that's my list of games, unless I've forgotten something, which I will probably mention later.
We wouldn't want you to forget anything you've been playing. Even if you opened it for a split second and it crashed, you need to mention it.
Okay, good. Right, so I backed a Kickstarter recently.
Okay.
Mhm.
It was for
Good
Goblins Comic.
segue.
See that? Radio
Uh,
kids.
Have you guys read Goblins Comic?
No, I have not.
Years ago.
You need to get back to it.
Lazy.
He started a Kickstarter for a board game, which he is calling Goblins Alternate Realities.
Oh, I did see that. I briefly skimmed it.
And I backed a bunch of
I
money
didn't
to
back
for
it.
it.
I
Yeah.
passed on it.
I think I backed like what was it? $99? Yeah.
Pretty good for someone that's unemployed playing video games all day.
Well, I don't pay bills and I had a really decent salary.
Well, that helps.
Yeah, so I've got a bunch of money
Do
just
you-
sitting there.
As someone that backs a lot of games, do you prefer Kickstarter over one of the other gaming specific ones that have popped up? Like, I think one of them is Indiegogo.
I use
Couple other
Indiegogo
ones.
as well,
Yeah.
but I only back games which I find interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
we
me
kind of
too.
talked about that last week. And,
Yeah.
Okay.
Quad has an account with all of the various ones, Desura and Indie and Kickstarter and all of that.
Yeah.
But and Greenlight.
Yeah, I follow those quite intensely. I like new games. I like new concepts.
But have you
just-
played a game that, I don't know if you've already talked about this, but have you played a game that you've backed yet?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that's come out. They've gone through the whole development cycle and
No,
You're there?
they haven't. I didn't really start doing Kickstarter that early. So the game I've been trying out recently, it's
okay,
kind
that
of in
doesn't
really
count though
early
because they're
alpha.
already there. They already put the game out and then they're starting a Kickstarter. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, War
okay.
for the Overworld. I backed that, and the alpha popped up like a month ago or so, and it was really unpolished and so on. So I didn't play too much of it.
So do they give you an NDA? So you get access to the alpha because you're a backer, right?
Yeah.
So do they give you an NDA, like a blanket NDA? So
No,
could
I
you
don't think so.
conceivably publish content from that game? Or
I think so. I haven't really read the TOS, and I have no interest in giving out videos on it. Not yet, until I can actually get a proper feel of the game. Because now it's just unfinished.
yeah.
I'm guessing there probably is a bunch of gameplay footage of it already. yeah. That's cool. Yeah, Kickstarter.
All right.
Fun time.
Kickstarter.
I'm actually following another game on Indiegogo. Caravaneer 2. I've discussed this earlier. I think it is coming. Well, he was supposed to release an alpha yesterday, but he's been delayed.
Uh-oh.
So it's probably going to be up in a week or two or so, I think. So yeah, that's going to be fun. I
That's
named the
feasible,
town
at least.
Yeah,
that's fun.
he's really active on Facebook. He answers everyone that asks a question. So
That's good. I would like to get that kind of contact information from the projects that I've backed.
Yeah,
A lot of them, most of them say, if you back this project, you'll get access to the forums, and it'll only be for backers. And
yeah,
everyone will be hanging
he
out,
just
but-
uses Facebook, and it's a closed group where
that'd
only
be
backers
fine.
are.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah, so it's a really good place to go and have fun.
All
So
right.
out of curiosity, Travis, Quad picks the games that he backs based on whether or not he wants to play them or they interest him. Do you do deeper research into it, or do you also just kind of take a quick glance at it and go, "Hey, this looks cool," or "I recognize that name and I'll back it"?
Well, I got into it based on I've long been a fan of the Shadowrun series, and Shadowrun, that company. Now the name escapes me. Rabbit something or Hare. Anyway, they bought the Shadowrun stuff, like IP, from someone, and they started a Kickstarter to reignite the whole Shadowrun franchise. And I set myself a reminder. I was like, oh, I didn't know they had games on Kickstarter. This is a pretty good idea. I set myself a reminder and I missed it, and I've been kicking myself ever since. So now I look into a lot of Kickstarter things. That's what got me started. But to more specifically answer your question, I research to a certain extent. It's like Quad. If I think I would play the game, I'll probably back it. But I do a little bit more research just on whether I think that the people involved are cool, I guess, or that
They
I
seem
don't know,
driven, or
they seem driven, I guess. I mean, there's been a lot of horror stories about Kickstarter, but I'm not really worried about losing my. For the most part, I back for like $10, $20.
Yeah,
So I'm not going to kill myself over it, but there's some that I've believed in, and some like non-game projects where I'll do a lot of more research and I'll put in like a real backing.
Yeah, I've been on. Well, I looked at the new Planescape game, and I didn't back it, just on the thought that I'm not sure whether or not they'll actually live up to my expectations.
Yeah, it also depends on what you get. I kind of feel like if I'm backing your project sight unseen, you need to give me more than just the game. A lot of these games are coming out where the $60 funding tier, for example, will be a copy of the game, right?
Yeah, I won't
So
back that.
it's basically you're buying the game. Okay, you get to buy the game, you get to be involved in the development in some way, involved on the forums, but that's not really, at that point, I'll just wait for the game to be released, and if I like it, I'll buy it. That doesn't really motivate me to fund the project. I want a little bit more compelling offers from these developers where I can feel like I'm really involved in it.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's the thing for me with Cataclysm DDA. When they're starting their Kickstarter, I'm probably going to give them money because I would have still donated to them if I found actually where I could donate to them.
Yeah.
So if they have it on Kickstarter, sure, I'll give them money. No worries.
Yeah.
I enjoy the game amazing amounts of hours.
I just had a random. My brain just made one of its random connections. Do you see a game company doing a Kickstarter as being any different than using the free-to-play model?
A little bit, because in the free-to-play model, they're making a significant investment. They're still hedging a bet that this game is going to be popular, right? So they're doing some development up front, and they're deciding they're getting funding from somewhere. So they're just taking it out of the sort of common folk pockets, and they're getting an investment either from a loan or something. Either a business loan if it's like a small company, or they're going to like a publisher like EA or something and selling them on the concept, and then producing this whole game and all the development, and then getting money back. That's the same as selling it. It's just a different model. Whereas this, if you're going to say, okay, the $59.99 tier gets you the game, you're really asking me to pre-order like a year in advance. That's not a good model.
No, that makes sense. It was just a random idea that occurred to me in terms of how a game company could fund themselves, and the connection between it.
Yeah, I would say the free to play model is probably, it's good if you have cash up front, right? If you have capital to work with, but but maybe it's not something that you can, or maybe your demographic is not entirely suited towards making an initial investment in your game at the point of launch at like $60 price points. Maybe it's a good option. Although a lot of the data suggests that most of these games that are in the free-to-play model, the successful ones, make over the lifespan of that user, they're making much more money than your standard $60.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, definitely. I've played a browser-based free-to-play called Star Pirates out of a two-man. Now they're more, but they used to be a two-man game studio in Canada, and I used to be a moderator for them. And I probably have spent $15,000-$20,000 on minor upgrades that just speed things up. It was a fun game. It was a really cool community, so I didn't have any problems with it. But
$20,000
over the span of about 4 years, yeah, probably.
Oh my god, that is crazy.
Do you remember last episode where I said I have an addictive personality?
Well, that's, yeah. I mean, I could see that.
Personality, yeah.
I would never be. I can't see myself being that passionate. Well, I shouldn't say that. If you look back to, like, I don't know if you guys remember Star Wars Galaxies, the original Star Wars Galaxies. I was. Do you guys curse on this show?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was fucking obsessed with that game, and I spent hours and like crashed a relationship over it, everything. So I would probably have spent 10 grand on that game easily if it had been that kind of model. I would have bought everything.
I don't have that. I can't justify spending that much money on a game.
Well, I couldn't either. Not all at once.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't over
if it had been all at
lifespan
once,
either.
I would have been like, no. But when it's $5 a month, and then
Wow.
like $60 every 2 weeks.
Well, there is a thing about World of Warcraft and all that, but that was the only way you could play an MMO back in the day, wasn't it? Through a subscription model.
Yeah.
Well, right, but I mean, if you spread it out, I mean, part of since my becoming aware of my addictive personality and the way that it negatively affects me and my family, I'm much more hyper conscientious about things like microtransactions, and a large part of the psychology behind them is that a small amount of money every couple of hours, even if it's just 50 cents, nobody really makes the connection. And so, I mean, for me, the $5 a month was just a general, hey, thanks for creating the game and providing this community for me. And then every 2 weeks on payday, when I would spend $60 to $120 on upgrades in the game, game. It was, hey, this is something, it's a treat for me. And I never could make that connection. And part of it was, I understood the fact that, yes, I was spending a fuck ton of money, but I never really made the connection until I sat down and realized just how much money that was.
Yeah. Well, I've never really, as I've said, I just can't spend that much money in a game, and I've always been like that. Even if I get, sort of like addicted to playing the game, I just won't spend more money than I need to.
Well,
but that's how it is for World of Warcraft. I wouldn't spend money to buy gold because I didn't need to do it.
I think I bought gold like once, but
yeah,
I've bought gold before.
I haven't. So
I bought gold in World of Warcraft. Well, I can make the case though. It's easy to say, okay, this person's addicted to it, or this is ridiculous spending money on a video game, whatever. But if you look at a game like World of Warcraft, the way I justified it anyway, maybe you guys will think this is crazy too, but I kind of felt, well, what is my time worth, right? I make a good salary, right? And I charged, at the time, I was a consultant, an independent consultant, and I charged an hourly rate. And I thought, if I do the math in my head, I can either sit here and farm for a while in World of Warcraft and bust my ass and, do all this stuff, or I can spend a fraction of what I earn on gold and be right where I need to be, and then only play the parts of this game that I enjoy. And
I can see that.
Sort of made
I
sense.
didn't really either farm. I just usually got lucky and got something that was worth a fuck ton of money and sold it.
Well,
that's the only
maybe
reason I got a flying mount, for example.
But you can see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think you can make the justification in certain senses if it's fun for you and you enjoy playing it and you don't want to play the repetitive parts of, especially an MMO, which is usually where you buy gold and currency. I think it makes sense to not want to do that. I did the same thing in EVE Online. I played EVE Online for a really long time, and it made sense just to buy credits because the PvE and the credit building in EVE Online is repetitive and crappy and like the worst part of the game. The most fun part is the PvP and the epic battles, but I don't want to sit there all day and fund that.
Well, if I got into EVE, I have a friend that has a bunch of. Well, he played it for years.
Yeah, well,
so he has a bunch of money. So
you can't factor that in. I have a bunch of money too, but now it's easy. Now that I bought a shit ton of credits, I just make loans because I don't pay it or I don't play the game right now. So I make loans to other people in my corp and earn interest while I'm not playing the game. And I'll get back in the game and I'll have like billions and billions of credits. It's the way to go.
See, and I love the idea of EVE, and every time some new article comes out about some massive encounter or something like that, it reminds me that I really want to play it, and then I have to remind myself that it's an MMO, and I don't do well with those.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
really
also
stopping people from doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I usually say that I'm a binge gamer. So like I can't just play EVE Online, for example, like a little bit at a time. I have to be like the fucking best in the world at it and go nuts.
I don't have to be the best. I am the best.
Yeah. But in a game like EVE Online, and to a certain extent, a lot of MMOs where there's raiding and things like that, people depend on you, and you start thinking, I have to do this, and I have to like be dependable in this video game, right?
And it becomes a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I can remember in the old days in World of Warcraft when I did the most DPS out of everyone and had more HP than the tanks. That was fun.
No. Did you play a druid?
No.
Okay, well then you don't get to comment.
What? Well, I remember I was playing a hunter with like 20k HP. That was fun. Running
All
around
right,
the
so
battlegrounds.
I apologize for the huge derailment. Travis, we've got some of your ideas and some of your views. What are you let's playing right now?
Nothing really.
Oh.
I've been kind of slacking on the gameplay footage. We were playing Fuse, like I said before, but I haven't really invested a lot of gameplay time in much right now. But I'm eager to get back in it. If you have any suggestions, I'm trying to think of something. Part of
Dwarf
the reason
Fortress.
is, yeah. Part of the reason
Castles
is
2.
because E3 is going on, and there's just, I don't know. I feel like nothing's happening right now. No
Well,
new games
yeah,
are
we're
coming
kind of
out.
in the dearth, the summer dearth, the doldrums. But
Yeah,
no, I gave you my partial list, didn't I?
yeah, you did. I was thinking about Red Dead Redemption, like I mentioned to you. Uh, the only thing that sucks about Red Dead Redemption is it's for PS3, and recording PS3 or any console footage is difficult. It's not difficult, it's just more annoying than PC footage because
Gotcha.
there's more of a process involved.
Mm.
They also do have it on the 360, just FYI.
Well, same thing. They both have HDCP encryption, so.
Well, I'll draft up the rest of my list and get it over to you sometime this week, maybe.
Okay.
Right. So, what's up? I think we've been talking about some interesting stuff now, and let's just get on to our topic. Well, our little topic, which it will probably turn into being because we've been talking for like 40 minutes already. Marketing.
Marketing in what sense?
Well, marketing for games. Well, I really should have thought this more through. I just come up with something and roll with it. And I usually figure out something eventually. The reason I wanted to talk about marketing mostly is because of, well, we've been talking about indie games a lot these past few weeks, and we know that Desura, Kickstarter, and all that are good marketing tools. But have you got any examples of any other games that have done good marketing outside of Kickstarter, Greenlight, and so on?
That are indie?
Yeah, or whatever, really.
Well, I have a recent example.
All right.
Arma 3 that just came out. They sent me like 200, 300 keys of Arma 3.
The Alpha Light.
The Alpha Light. And so the Alpha Light, for people that don't know, is like it's basically a demo. It's there's no multiplayer. You can choose from a couple missions, and it basically demos the game. It shows you like scuba play, some tank stuff, missions, how to do different things, how the combat works. But in order to actually play, like if you got a key from me, you would say, this game is either awesome or not, and then you would buy you'd have to buy the rest of the game in order to really play it. And it's interesting because people are still really excited to get the keys, and they're still not giving them out in a way where anyone can just download the game like a traditional demo. It's not like you can just go download it. Yeah. So it creates sort of a sense of I'm special in some way, or I'm winning this key. I'm getting something for free. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing that we might see other developers come on to.
Yeah.
See, and I don't know. I'm of two minds on that. Like, for me, I get the idea behind the demos. If a game doesn't have a demo, the chances of me ever buying it are slim to none. If your name is not Bungie or yeah, that's pretty much it. Then the chances of me buying your game without a demo of some kind is non-existent. I have to hear rave reviews about it, and or Ubisoft is another. They very rarely move me wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
doing it as kind of a limited release demo irks me for some reason, and I'm not 100% sure why, but I think it has to do with that sense of, oh, I'm special, and
Yeah. Well, it's a little shady. I mean, it's a little shady. It's creating false demand just for that purpose. It's like when Google released Gmail, they slowly open it up to
yeah.
people, and you have to know someone that knows someone. That it's the same sort of system, and scarcity is just a part of what is a tried and true marketing tactic, right?
So
Creates
artificial
demand.
scarcity therefore means better.
Yeah, it's getting people talking, it's getting people requesting the keys.
Yeah.
Whereas if you could just go on Steam and download it, it doesn't create any kind. People might still download it, right? But it's not creating any kind of conversation on social networks in order to increase demand. So if I can just go download the game, I might like it and I might buy it, but my friends might not even know about it. And if there's some kind of scarcity, I might talk about the fact that I just got a key, or I might ask for one on Twitter. I might say, does anyone have an Arma 3 key? Things like that create the conversation. I think that's sort of what they're leaning towards.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense than what I was envisioning.
I don't play demos.
Why not?
Do you just go for it?
I just usually go for it. I don't. I check out the game. I go on YouTube, check it out. If I don't like what I see, I just don't buy it and watch the rest of the Let's Play.
That's what a demo is, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole purpose of a demo is to let you know what the game is about and what it's like, and give you a taste for it. Sure, there's games that you can watch the Let's Play on. I mean, there's plenty that I've purchased just because of a Let's Play or a first look of somebody. But
yeah, me too.
If they didn't have a demo as well, I mean, sure, a video looks fine and all. Watching somebody stream it is grand. But if you don't have a taste for the actual gameplay itself, I'm probably not interested.
The reason I don't play demos is because I don't want to play the bloody first part again. That's the only reason. That is the only reason I don't play demos.
I don't know. I enjoy...
If it saved it for when I bought the game, I would play demos.
Well, I mean, that's another Arcade.
Yeah, that's another pro for like the Arma system. You're just adding another key to your account, so you're not really it's not like you're losing the game. You're not deleting a demo file and then creating another download, a completely separate thing. So
okay, that makes sense.
I mean, I play demos, but a lot of times I will watch gameplay footage on YouTube and then make a decision based on that. Especially a lot of times I do co-op stuff. That's why I was interested in doing co-op footage to begin with, because I like co-op gaming, but a lot of times people that make gameplay videos are playing alone, and I want to see how the co-op works, how the split screen works, like whether the HUD is messed up, stuff like that can sort of make or break the co-op deal. And a lot of companies seem to half-ass that. They just kind of throw it in. They're like, well, we'll just split the screen down the middle and it'll be fine.
Yeah, without testing it properly.
Yeah.
I've seen that over and over again, especially on... Well, they did it good in the N64 era.
I still say the best co-op gameplay is Chaos Theory, Splinter Cell.
Oh, interesting. Might have to look into that. I'm always looking for good co-op games to play.
Check it out. The co-op mission when you
Saints Row. I love Saints Row. I'm looking forward to the fourth one.
On Chaos Theory, when you have it down pat and you know every permutation that's possible and exactly the timing on everything, I think you can run through it in about an hour and a half. But it's not a typical, like, Halo co-op is two Master Chiefs running around shooting and
Right.
yay, that's it. The Chaos Theory actually requires you to interact with each other in order to progress, as well as interacts at least through audio, and your actions affecting the campaign, the single player campaign. So, for
Right.
example, Sam Fisher at one point, if you just play the single player, he has a conversation with another set of Splinter Cell agents and is getting information from somebody. If you play the co-op campaign, you actually are those agents who go gather that information. And I think it's by far one of my most favorite co-op campaigns of all time.
Yeah, that's actually the way I think that co-op games should be done, especially stealth games.
Yeah, those are the most fun.
Yeah, they don't do it very well
No.
usually. Right, so we were talking about marketing, weren't we?
Yeah. Sorry.
Which game did you bring up? Yeah, the Arma 3.
Yes.
So the keys. Yeah, I actually think that it was a brilliant idea for them to do it, because it gets their game out there without them actually having to do very much about it, because it usually gets spread by, word of... What expression am I looking
Word
for?
of mouth.
Word of mouth, there we go. And, well, if someone goes around asking in a forum whether or not someone else has a key for it, someone else might actually see it and go check it out. And then they
Right.
want a key, so they go onto another forum and ask for a key. And
Exactly.
that starts a chain reaction, now doesn't it? And I think it's an excellent idea how they did that. It just creates hype for the game. And hype
All
is
right,
always good.
you guys have convinced me.
Yeah. Right.
So what about other marketing methods? I mean, there's
Beta,
the
alpha.
Well, there's the obvious big ones. I mean, we could use like Halo 3's example. I mean, Microsoft poured, what was it, like $500 million into marketing on that, and most game companies can't afford to do that.
No.
But they had a well-crafted. They had real or live action videos to go along with it, commercials, Mountain Dew sponsorship, blah blah blah. But what about failed marketing? We can. I'm going to use my favorite scapegoat here, but does anybody remember EA's marketing fiasco for Dante's Inferno?
That was the sort of. What was it? It was the.
It was a God of War clone, based kind of loosely on Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, I know what a game is. I'm talking about what commercial.
Oh, I don't know on the commercial, but their marketing, their press marketing and their actual marketing, they staged fake protests outside their development headquarters, and
that sounds terrible.
Yeah, like it was. Granted, it was an ingenious idea. It was unique. It was something that nobody had ever done before, but it was, I think they flawed in a very major way, because most people aren't going to be able to look beyond that. Now, I'll admit, I played the game and I thought it was an okay, slightly mediocre God of War clone, but what it really interested me was how they adapted the literary work, not the protests and the press package, where they basically sent the press members I don't remember, something about like a dead baby, or here's a copy of the game, but if you play it you're a thief. I don't remember what it was, but it was basically forcing their press packet receivers into a moral quandary.
Have you read The Divine Comedy?
Not for years upon years upon years.
Oh.
I think I was 12 when I read it.
I started reading it once. I never finished.
Did you read it, Travis?
No.
I know it's excellent, but I just have problems with, well, poem-like stuff. And yeah, right. Well, we have, let's see, marketing, SimCity 3, no 4, 2012, whatever. There was something about the marketing there. I can't remember.
That's not a fault of the marketing. It's a fault of it failing as a video game.
No, there was an interesting marketing thing there. That's
that
the
they
thing.
did at E3?
No, I can't remember. Go, come with other examples. I'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, in comparison, now Travis, in the real world, you don't do IT, you do business consulting, correct?
Somewhat, yes. For product,
Somewhat,
for web startup products.
Okay. So when the question comes to marketing, you are one that could feasibly, have professional experience in this, yeah?
Yeah. I definitely deal in that arena.
Okay, so would you using the two examples that we've listed, Arma 3 and their false scarcity of the Alpha Light keys, and EA's Dante's Inferno fiasco, do you think that there's a happy medium, or there's a perfect marketing campaign out there that maybe doesn't necessarily cost a boatload of money?
That doesn't cost a boatload of money. I think if you're like an indie developer that doesn't have a lot of money, the tried and true thing you got to do is just release some version of the game, some demo, and it's like the old software shareware model. Let people play it, and hopefully they like it, and if they like it, they'll buy it.
I think that's, the cheap way of doing things.
Yeah,
but
you
that's,
can't really
of
go
course,
wrong.
outside of Kickstarter, Desi, or whatever, and Greenlight, because if you went on there, you'd get your marketing as you needed it. But outside of that, you'd need to go another way. And
so the marketing dollars come into play partly when there's some expectation of not meeting a goal, or perhaps not being 100%, not having 100% faith in your product. Not to say you can't market it, but I think when people start really getting crazy, when companies start really getting crazy, like publishing companies with marketing, to a certain extent, they're trying to hedge that bet a little bit and make sure that some portion of their demographic is going to buy the game just based on the marketing and not based on anything else. And that's where you get into these, if you're getting free games, for example, from publishers, you have embargo dates, and they want all of the reviews typically to come out at one time, so that, and on release, and they want to control as much of the message as possible. And I think when that comes from having a lot of money, indie games don't always have that luxury.
Oh yeah, that brings me on to the SimCity 2012 thing, because there was the thing where IGN got the game
Exclusive
before any
review.
Yeah, they got exclusivity to the game, well, the review thing, a week before it was released, so they got to play the full game without anyone else.
And they gave it a terrible review, or?
No,
I don't even remember.
They didn't do that. They just the thing is, they just got exclusivity. So, for example, no one else on YouTube could release anything on it, the day of the release.
Yeah.
They had to wait a day, to get the video out the next day, because,
they had to buy it first.
Yeah, they had to buy it first and play it.
Well, to me, I don't know. That seems kind of shady in most situations to me. We talked about that when it came to BioShock Infinite, but for the vast majority,
embargo the reviews.
Wait.
Yes, in large part, yes, because I think anytime a company is trying to hide information from their prospective customers, their prospective demographic, I really, really dislike that. I really do.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
You,
it depends. It depends because you have to understand a press embargo is part of that what you're talking about, but it's also part that in order to create buzz, you want to have as much happen at once as possible, you know? So they
see, and
try
my
to have
concern
everything released at the same time.
to me it would actually that seems counterintuitive because if you release everything all at once, it to me it just strikes as though it would be you know, it would get lost in the shuffle. Whereas if you dole it out over time, then it
Mhm.
would whet the appetite more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I could see that. I think
well,
it just
Rev,
comes down to they can control the message before the game's released, so they might as well, you know? They figure they can control everything that's released and to create the hype that you're talking about prior to the release. So they might as well take advantage of that, right?
Okay.
well,
I don't
Rev,
know. I,
you're correct when you said Bioshock because SimCity didn't do that. That was only Bioshock. I got the two
yeah.
games mixed up.
How do you get those two games mixed up?
Well, I got the
They're
marketing
very, very similar.
aspects mixed up. That was it. You know, the exclusivity thing. That was only Bioshock.
I'm
Fair enough.
surprised. I didn't know about that, but I'm surprised at that. I know that Tomb Raider had a big issue with the press embargoes as well. They gave a lot of those games out. Tomb Raider or Ubisoft, I guess. I think they were the publisher. Did sort of the opposite. They gave a lot of press copies out to a lot of different, especially YouTube producers, gamers, and a lot of them they were so not selective with the people that they gave press copies to that a lot of them broke the embargo. You know, they didn't care. They weren't really in it for the long run, I guess you could say, right? They just wanted to get as many views as possible, and a lot of them broke the embargo. And then they had to go in and do some damage control. They started this content ID war with, you know, by working with YouTube and all this other
Right.
stuff. So, you know, I don't know. It's whether one is better than the other, one strategy is better than the other. I don't know.
Breaking an
So-
embargo is stupid.
Yeah, it's
Well-
very short-sighted, I
Yeah.
think, in my opinion. If you want to be in it for the long haul and you want to release games, I mean, I'm always surprised when someone sends me a game for free, but so I'm not going to break the embargo, but people do it, and I don't know. But like in the limited time I've been doing it, I've dealt with like 3 PR companies. You know, there's only a few that handle all the PR for all these games. So if you're going to be a douche to one of them, you're not going to last very long in doing what we do, right?
Right.
Well, you get blacklisted, so
Yeah.
See, and I don't know. I think my own personal sense of ethics would interfere with my ability to comply with that kind of embargo.
That you
Okay.
want to release the footage prior to the embargo?
Well, it depends on the situation. I mean, if it is hypothetically, let's say that I suddenly decide I'm going to start doing Let's Plays,
Yes!
and I make it big on YouTube, and I have people that are sending me reviewer copies of console and PC games, and I finally got a PC, etc. But you know,
Okay, there's a lot of
assuming all of
hypotheticals.
this. Yeah, exactly. If. But you know, if I got a game and it was a good game and I enjoyed it and I personally felt like I could recommend it to you guys, for example, I would have no problem abiding by a press embargo. But at the same time, if I got a game that just absolutely was crap, and I pride myself on my ability to look at a video game or other quasi-material product as objectively as possible, but you know, there are some games that are just absolute objective shit, and if I got one of those, and I did this. Could I personally withhold telling everybody I know, my entire audience of 22 million people on YouTube, that this game is shit, it's broken, the story sucks, it's half finished, and they're going to charge you $75 for it? I don't think I could do that.
Well, I think
people that buy games before watching a review are generally stupid.
I think you have to say, if you wanted to be sort of the most ethical in that situation, what I would tell myself is, this game is total shit. I want everyone to know about it, so I'm going to get all my video editing and everything together. I'm going to release it the very second that the embargo's over, and hopefully my loyal subscribers will wait for my review the second it's released, and say, okay, Travis says that this game is total shit, I'm not going to buy it, I don't know that I would break the embargo, partly because the PR firm that you would have got that game from, they're doing the PR for that game, but they're also doing the PR for a game that you really like. Their client is that publisher. You don't want to screw that PR company over, because their client is the publisher, and the publisher is trusting them to pick the right people and not to screw it up and all that stuff. So you kind of want to have some professionalism, I think, and that's maybe hard to come by a lot of times in like the gameplay video kind of world.
Well,
I think it's important.
I see what you're saying, and I agree with it. But at the same time, doesn't that publisher have a duty to, have some professionalism in the game that they're releasing? I mean, is it?
Well, yeah. What if you just don't like it? What if they like it? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, at what point is the line drawn? Okay, I make a terrible, shitty game, and I put it out there, and you know what? You can't tell anybody how shitty it is until the day it's released at this time. And hey, suddenly I've just made millions of dollars by selling this horrible, shitty game. And I run off to the bank, and haha, I'm happy now. But who gets the responsibility for that? And for me, I don't think I could handle that responsibility, because my own personal ethics say that I would have to tell people just how bad I thought it was.
They can go with the people that end the embargo the day before are usually, good games. The ones that end the embargo on the day it's released are usually shit games. Yes. There you go.
Wait, say that again. I think when it's a really bad game, people. Well, yeah. I think. I don't know. I don't know which would be which, but I feel like if it's a really, really bad game, they're probably not giving a lot of review copies out anyway, so you're not going to get one.
Yeah.
They usually try to own the message as much as possible, even more so when it's a bad game. I think they try to not get. They're certainly not going to get it in front of people that have no kind of connections to anything, which is a lot of the YouTube creators out there. They don't really have any kind of like IGN, even, not that they do, but a company like that could say, we want to keep our relationship with this person because we get whatever box seats at the Giants games or something. I don't know,
Right.
But someone on YouTube, they don't care. So they probably, if the game is really bad enough to where the publisher is like, this game is terrible, we just want to sell as many copies as possible, they're probably not going to give a lot of review copies out anyway.
No.
I guess that makes sense.
All right, let's, I guess, move on because we've already hit the hour mark.
Like 3 minutes of that is build up too.
Yeah, well, it's still over now. Let's move over to some quick news.
Okay. You didn't have anything because you've been playing games all week.
Well, I could bring up stuff, but I don't want to because, being over an hour and all that. And I'm just dragging out time right now just for the fun of it.
I actually, speaking of indie games and publishing, this was just released today. There is Amazon has released a dedicated indie games storefront. The aim is to highlight indie developers and their games and help them reach more consumers. They have a indie spotlight section in which they talk to the developers about their games, kind of a Q&A type thing, I guess. And they're selling various bundles of indie games, and all of the proceeds, 100% of the sales, go directly to the developers. Amazon takes zero cut.
Wow,
Interesting.
that's nice.
Keep an eye on that.
I've noticed a lot of those things. I don't know if you, on a related note, Razer, the gaming peripherals turned hardware company,
Mhm.
they're doing a similar thing. They're not giving away, I think it's a greatly reduced price for their laptops to indie game developers. And they have a program where if you're an industry game developer, I think they're even working through Kickstarter, they will provide laptops to the developers at a greatly reduced, or I don't think it's
That's
free.
kind of
But
interesting.
yeah, there's
So we're definitely seeing the rise of the indie developers and how the markets are catering to them now.
Yeah. They're doing actually
it's becoming
an excellent
more
job.
accessible.
I think it's awesome that they're doing this. I'm looking through here, and the prices aren't half bad.
Yeah, I pulled up the page and I had an instant coupon for 75% off my first two purchases.
Huh. Well,
And
I'm
that was
probably
non-bundled.
not going to buy there because of the taxes and all that.
But it's a cool thing to note. So
Yeah.
The only other news thing that I had that's worthy that can kind of be spoken of in relatively short order is Microsoft finally pulled their collective heads out of their asses and came out with an official statement about all of the shit that they've been blasted over for the last 2 weeks. Did you hear about that?
The pinging the always-on internet for the Xbox.
How the game licenses works, the always on, and the Kinect privacy issue. Did you read up on that at all?
A little bit. So you can only trade a game once, right?
Yep.
And then it sort of lives there. Yeah, everyone was going crazy about that, but everyone loves Steam. Like, they worship Steam, they worship Valve, but they do the exact same thing. It's even more strict. You can't trade a game if you install it.
But I think in large part one of the big differences, in my opinion, anyways, the way I view it is that I can purchase a game on Steam for $3.
Yeah.
Yeah. An old game.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, how old was there was some game that had just come out. My memory just went. Okay, so yeah,
but
going back to Xbox
don't you think
One.
the Xbox digital store is going to have deals similar to Steam? I can't imagine that they won't.
Are
Why
you
not?
kidding me? Have you seen their deals as they stand now?
Well,
No.
I think that as they move to digital distribution like Steam, they're going to do the same type of thing. I would imagine they're going to emulate Steam in the sense that they're going to have the same kinds of deals and have the same bundles and collections and all that kind of stuff, because the publishers want that.
Based on their past and current behavior, I highly doubt it. We'll see if you're right, and if so, I will cede that to you. But I mean, right now,
it's the smarter play, in my opinion, economically. I mean,
well,
it's better for revenue. I don't know why they
but Microsoft isn't necessarily.
People assign these like spirits to these companies. They're the evil man, but if the economics make sense, they're going to do it. If the publishers will make more money by putting all their crap in a collection and saying buy all this for $50, half of which is crap that no one's buying anymore, like the sales have gone down to like one per day or one per month, they're going to do it.
I would hope so. I would hope so. And I'll give you a perfect example right now. I enjoyed the game Mirror's Edge. I hate EA. I want to play the game Mirror's Edge again. If you listened to last week's episode, one of my sword fighting family members has a family that worked on the game, but it's available for on demand on Xbox Live for $30. That game's been out for like 5-6 years at this point. I could literally
that's
go
way
to
too
Amazon
much.
and get it for $5. But
Yeah.
if I want to download a copy of it, I have to pay $30.
Yeah, and on Steam it's what,
Yeah.
€10.
So I mean, based on their current behavior, I don't see them doing that.
I
will
wonder
be-
if that's availability. I wonder if they're able to charge a premium because a lot of those Xbox Live users don't have access to a PC to get those kinds of deals, so they're assuming that that they can charge a higher rate. I wonder if it has anything to do with piracy also. I mean, I wonder if they have to make the value proposition better for a PC user because the little piracy bug that's always like on their shoulder is saying, well, we have to make it compelling enough to where the person is like, well, it's only $5. Do I want to spend the time torrenting it, or do I just want to download it legitimately, right?
I can still pirate games for consoles. It's not really all that difficult.
It's much more of a hassle.
Well, it's more of a hassle, but you can still do it. It's just the same as on a PC. It's just pirating. You can do it.
At that point, just
don't you have
because
to
you
jailbreak
can,
your console? I don't know. I haven't done it in years since the PS2 days. But even in the PS2 days, you had to. Well, they didn't call it jailbreaking at the time, but essentially
It was
that's what you would
modding.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, going back to Xbox One, they will have the ability to transfer games amongst your friends. If Travis is on my Xbox Live friends list and has been for 30 days, I can transfer a game to him almost instantly. But that copy of the game can only be sent once, and there's no fee for that one time. After that, the next person would have to buy the game.
So he can't send it back to you.
Right.
Well, that's stupid.
That's kind of stupid. You should at least be able to cancel the trade or something.
Yeah, to be able to send it back, It's sort
Maybe
of
you
like
can.
borrowing, isn't it?
Well, that's what everyone's complaining about, that it's not like borrowing a disc.
Well, in this particular case, it does say that you will be able to allow people access to your game library. Where did it say that? Up to 10 members can log in and play. Where was that? Crap.
You can't find it.
No, I can't find that line anymore. They did mention that.
Okay.
Loaning, and I'll see if I can find that. But it looks like they did address some of the issues that we had.
We'll probably see more of that, next week.
Most
Week's
definitely.
over. And,
Most definitely.
Well, we already know what next week's topic is going to be, and that's probably going to be 3. Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. The always-on connection thing, they have clarified. Yes, that will optimally be used always-on, and some games may require always-on. But if you lose internet connection, you can play video games for up to 24 hours from the point the connection breaks. At which point your Xbox does have to make a heartbeat check back to Microsoft servers and reactivate all of your licensing and all of that and say, yes, it's authorized. So
Stupid.
I'm not a fan of that, but it's a step.
I'm not a fan, but I don't know. I get shit about it all the time. I don't really care. I maybe I'm like the man, but I don't care that I have an always on connection and I always have internet. I don't go anywhere that doesn't have internet. Aside from camping, but
for me,
not
I've
taking
spent
my
too much
Xbox
time
there.
For me, I've spent too much time, traveling staying in a hotel room, and I'll have
But
my
you
Xbox.
take your Xbox
Oh, are you kidding me? Hell yeah!
to a hotel?
If
I
I'm
don't
driving
know. Even the
across
hotel
country,
has internet.
Well, I
well,
don't.
sometimes, but
For
I
me,
mean,
it's not an issue. No, the always-on thing.
I
It's
don't really care. I would have my
no,
Xbox connected all the time. Like if it's not connected, there's I have a problem. Not
well, there's a
I mean, I understand
principle
they
there
do, but
where other people don't have the luxury of always-on, and well, I don't
I
really
don't
want to
know.
support someone that has that as a well. They basically demand you to have an internet connection.
Okay, but yeah, the same argument used to happen when when cable modems started coming online and DSL first started coming online. And people would say, well, we have to provide some alternative for these modem users because not everyone has such a fast connection. But then it's like, well, the future is downloadable content. It's digital distribution. We're not going to provide a disc anymore because this percentage of people doesn't have a fast connection. The future is digital distribution. You need to get on it. We're not going to make discs anymore. That's just the way it is.
Well, as I understand it, sorry, Rob, I'm just gonna rant one.
yeah, no, go for it.
As I understand it, the Americans, in America, there isn't 100% coverage of internet to everyone.
Correct.
And, well, in Norway, there is. Well, it's at least like 99.9% of people have
It's
internet
probably
access.
up there in the US as well.
No, it's something
this
like
point,
60%.
Well, come on. 60%.
And that's DSL at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in the area where I live, it's actually 100% fiber.
Yeah.
So
I wish it was like that here, but
so
not.
yeah, there's
we
they
could
they
get
actually
into a whole
I think-
socialist versus capitalist discussion, but
Yeah, I actually think that the Norwegian government they actually have spent the last few years more on internet than they have on roads.
wow. It's a smarter play, really.
Yeah. So yeah,
Information.
go ahead, Rev. You had something you wanted to say.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, even here locally, I have a fairly good connection, and I still lose internet twice a day. I mean, if you look at the IRC logs at the IRC channel, my home connection here at my laptop, which I leave always on, is constantly dropping. And whether that's a fault in my modem, whether that's a fault in my router, or if it's a fault with my ISP, I've yet to figure out. And I'm pretty sure it's my router because I've had the thing for years. But if that dies out and it's a weekend or something and I can't make it to Walmart or they're out of routers, then I'm hosed for the entire weekend. And the weekend is my prime gaming opportunity. I mean, I'm out 50% of my possible gaming time because I lost my internet connection.
Go steal a router at work.
I feel like it's going to work in most situations because I have to believe that Microsoft, as a public corporation that just wants to make money, has done considerable research in what the demographic that's going to be buying an Xbox One is and what kind of internet connection they have and whether that connection is stable enough to support what they want to implement.
Maybe that's
I
my
have
problem.
To believe that, right?
Maybe I'm growing out of the demographic.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I've certainly found that quite a bit.
I haven't bought an
life.
Xbox 360. I'm probably not gonna buy the Xbox One either.
Are you gonna buy a PlayStation 4?
Probably. It depends, of course, if they implement the always on. I'm probably not gonna buy that either.
I would imagine it's gonna be pretty similar. I think they're moving towards a digital download, digital distribution system in all senses. And they have to do something to protect the licensing. It comes from the publishers as well. The same thing happened in the music industry when Steve Jobs wanted to create this music store, and he had all these ideas for how it was going to be distributed and all this stuff. And he often gets blamed for the DRM situations, but it really was a compromise of the music companies want to do this, and you're not going to have our content unless you protect it. And the same thing's probably happening in the Microsoft situation. They're probably saying, well, we want to make the best possible console, obviously, because we want everyone to buy it. That's how we make money. So, but the publishers say, well, you need to protect our content if you want to give your users the convenience of downloading it. And you want to
publisher themselves, so they're probably saying it to themselves.
And that's true, yeah. So they're playing both sides of the coin there for sure.
Well,
and they make a cut of all the money. They make a cut of all that distribution, partly to pay for infrastructure, but partly for profit sharing as well. So they have a vested interest in all aspects of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely food for thought.
Right. End of news.
Yeah, end of news. Travis, I thank you for your perspective on that. I'm really, I'm actually sitting here trying to think things through again and reevaluating my perspective on it from a business standpoint. I'm gonna think long and hard on this, and I'm sure we'll have more conversations in the future.
Sounds good.
Good. Travis.
Yes.
Hello. What will you be playing this week? And will you be let's playing?
Yes, I'm committed to making something.
Good. What will you be playing?
I just don't know what that is yet.
Okay. Do you have any idea what you will be playing, off camera?
I'm going to try to... My wife is sitting right over there. And I'm going to try...
Hi, Travis's wife.
I'm going to try to convince her. She doesn't need a lot of convincing, though. She likes gaming. I'm going to try to finish, potentially, the Fuse co-op multiplayer. And finish that out, which will be exciting to have another completed, fully finished 100% playlist going on there. And then, I don't know. I'm going to try to think of some other thing to play. I really have no idea at this point, so sorry.
That's why I love having tons of games, because when I get bored of one, I just jump into another and then jump back to the other game again.
I like to start, though, and then finish. You know what I mean? I like to start at 0 and go all the way to level finished.
That's why I love having a bunch of open-ended games, like Dota 2,
but those are so hard to make videos
Dwarf
of.
Fortress.
It's too hard to make a video of that.
No, it isn't. It's really easy.
No, Travis, you're wrong. You're wrong.
I know.
Because
it's hard.
So much
it's hard for me to make a video of that. I should say.
It's so much
if we just picked up the
responsibility
controllers and did whatever, and there was no levels. Like
so much
Skyrim.
Responsibility.
I don't get Skyrim gameplay videos. I don't get that. I can't watch them, and I can't imagine making them.
I think that may be why I didn't start I Am Alive, because it's so much responsibility to actually having to finish the game. I didn't even release the first episode.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Rev.
I am going to be playing Trials Evolution, and we'll see what happens with there. My roommate... yeah, there's something coming up in the future. We'll probably talk about it next week, but there's something coming up that's involving that. It'll be a surprise. But my roommate had his 360 stolen by a former roommate, and he just dropped off this giant pile of video games in my lap, and I have no idea what's over there, but I'm probably going to try at least a couple of them.
Cool.
Like I can't see the disc, the cases from where I'm sitting, so I don't know what's over there.
Okay.
How about you, Quad?
Yeah, I'll be playing Crusader Kings 2, Dota 2, Expeditions Conquistador. I've just downloaded Europa Universalis before we started. I'm probably going to start that up as well. Let's see. Mountain Blade. I may play some more. I'm not too sure. I think the Civ 5 expansion is coming out soon, so I'll probably be playing that. I don't know exactly when it comes out.
Are you gonna let's play anything?
Yeah.
Not so far. I may start up Dwarf Fortress.
Because it's too
Again.
hard. It's
Yeah,
open-ended.
Well, this time it's going to be the Fortress mode rather than Adventure mode. If I'm going to do it, of course. And I'm probably going to be playing... I may actually do some more videos of Cataclysm DDA, because there's actually been a new version out for quite a while that I haven't really been, considering making videos for. Let's see. I'm just going to play a bunch of games. War Thunder. Probably streaming that with Vapid tomorrow.
Alright.
We'll see. I'll probably pick up some more games as the week progresses.
Sounds like a plan. All right. Well, we are actually at this point nearing the hour-and-a-half mark again.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and kind of wrap it all up. Travis, thank you so much for joining us finally.
No worries.
And
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure. And to all of our listeners out there, thanks for joining us again for Time to Live podcast. We're recording it early. You'll be hearing it on Sunday as normal. But
Yes.
yeah, this is Rev signing out.
And
that's
we
Quad.
have Vocino, Travis.
Yes.
That was...
Bye.
Okay, yeah. As always, I just want to say thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next week.
Bye, guys.